Data pipelines can easily become disorganized tangles of information, but with the right architecture, you can force that chaos into structure. By the end of this build, you will have constructed a fully functional AI automation dashboard, which is engineered entirely on the Next.js framework. We're designing an interface where a user can execute complex logic just by pressing a single button, generating a perfectly formatted real-time output. Before writing any code, ensure you have 3 tools installed and ready: Node.js, your preferred code editor, and an active API key from your AI provider. Packaging your logic into a web interface means anyone on your team can run these workflows without needing to open a terminal or read a line of code. Step 1 is setting up the environment. We start with an empty terminal. Run the standard create next app command to scaffold the core application. Once that resolves, immediately install the required AI SDK dependencies to interact with our language models. It is completely normal to see errors if you try to start the server right away. You must first change your directory into the new project folder before running the development command. With the application running, we need to handle the AI provider credentials. Hard coding API keys directly into your application code is a severe risk. We use environment variables. Create a new file named exactly .env.local at the absolute root folder, separated from your src directory. Because Next.js configures this file to be automatically ignored by version control, your secret key stays entirely on your local machine, never uploading to a public repository. By setting up the framework correctly and isolating your credentials on day 1, you close off catastrophic security leaks before writing your first function. Now that the foundation is secure, we configure the visual user experience. Open the main page file and delete the default Next.js boilerplate. You need a completely blank canvas to build your layout. The dashboard requires 3 structural components: a trigger button, a loading spinner, and an empty container for the output. Because these require browser interactivity, they must render on the user's device. To enable this, add the Use Client directive at the very top. When an AI model takes several seconds to process a complex task, a static screen appears broken. Explicit loading states show the system is working, preventing the user from repeatedly clicking in confusion. Building predictable front-end feedback turns a fragile developer script into a resilient application that users trust. With the interface handling the user, the invisible back-end layer has to handle the heavy lifting. In Next.js, we connect the interface to the AI provider using a server action. Think of this as a secure function running strictly on your server, isolated from the browser. When clicked, the input travels from the browser to the Next.js backend. The server transmits this payload to the AI provider. The API returns a raw response to the server for cleanup formatting. Finally, the server delivers the clean payload back to the client interface. Notice the strict boundary of this cycle. Because the actual request to the AI originated from the backend server layer, the browser never interacted with your sensitive API key. To complete the circuit, you import your new server action into your front-end file and bind it directly to the click event of your trigger button. Isolating this complex logic on the server guarantees consistent execution speeds across all user devices while maintaining total architectural security. You have now successfully fused environment variables, a client interface, and server-side processing into a single unified pipeline. Entering a new input and executing the workflow now completes the entire round trip seamlessly. The data processes securely, and the formatted result appears instantly on screen. Because you structured this on Next.js, this foundation is built to scale. You can easily attach a database to save previous generations, or integrate an authentication layer to manage individual user access. The logical next phase is full deployment. You take this local development environment and push your code to a hosting provider to generate a live, accessible web address. Building your AI workflows inside a robust web framework elevates you beyond writing isolated scripts. You are engineering a scalable platform that an entire organization can rely on.